dressing with Lonny. You know, I'm usually in the building by 6:45. Shows at 8. I usually, as I'm doing all this, I'm warming up and stretching. That I already did, so, you know, we're okay. I apply a couple tattoos, which is always fun. These last about 2 days before I have to redo them. I've contemplated the real thing, but I'm too scared. These were chosen for me in terms of the actual tattoos, like the skull and the Born to Ride bikes eagle. And I think at one point, I think they just picked these so that Lonny had shit on his arms, so that it didn't look like he was a little white guy. But I got to pick the pinup girl. I thought the pinup girl was pretty cool. And I actually have pinup girls on my my first shirt that I wear. So there's just a little, you know, rubbing alcohol and kind of like a peel and stick kind of deal. I think what we get them in Cracker Jack boxes. It definitely does help with the character. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of badass a little bit. And then this is just like a little sealer that sort of brings the color back a little bit and lets it live on my arm for a couple days. You know, I can still shower and soap up, and they survive. I did The Lion King for 2 years, and I played Timon, the little meerkat who sings Hakuna Matata. I don't like to talk about it too much because it's so different from Rock of Ages, but I would sit in the makeup chair for about a half an hour, and I'm painted green top to bottom, essentially my ears, my neck, right here, all green. And then I had this big green leafy wig that I wore every night. Not as delicate or nice as my mullet, but you know, not cheap. Those things aren't cheap. Wigs aren't cheap to make. All right, let me put this little sock on my head, and then we'll go put a mullet on. This is just, you know, what do you call this stuff? Like tape, you know, self-grip, sticky stuff.
Did they have a prep for you before you guys started Tech and Dress to like teach you your routine? Like, how do they teach you your? I think
you know, for me, routine is developed pretty quickly. You know what's expected. Like they're telling you what you're wearing. They're giving you your wig. Our hair and makeup department, our hair department sets a schedule as to when they want everybody to come in to put the wig on. So that's set, and you sort of put that into your routine. You develop your routine around the department's schedule. But for me, my routine came pretty quickly. You know, like I said earlier, I get to work at around 6:45. I get here, I change out of whatever I'm wearing that day, stretch out, warm up the voice a little bit, and then I go to hair to put the wig on, usually right after they call 15, because it takes just a couple minutes, and then I'm back in here to put my shirt on, make sure the mics are good to go, and then I make my way up on stage at around 5 minutes or when they call places, and that's it. But this is kind of important. Like I've tweaked this a little bit. This is sort of my own version of a wig prep. Some wig person watching this is going to be like, "What the hell's he doing?" This is just kind of how I like it. It feels secure for me, and I probably put way too many clips and things in, but that's just how I roll. It's the Lonny. It's the Mark Lonny way. You know, I think when, you know, a lot of the, like you said, the Stacey Jacks in New York mentioned it, how the wig really helps them. This is sort of, I think it's the same for me too. I still feel Mark-ish at this point, you know, just a guy with some fake tattoos and a wig cap on. And I feel a little like, ooh, what the hell are you doing with these fake tattoos? But once the mic is around my back and...
When do you get mic'd?
I will do it next. Yeah, I'll get it. They're probably not on the wall yet, just from a word of time sequence, but normally the mics are waiting for us on the wall outside. I'll bring it in, and it's just It's just this little guy. I wear 2 mic packs on my lower back, and this hangs right around my waist. I wear the front part of this belt underneath my belt line, and this just sits right at the top of my jeans. It comes up my back, and I just have one of those little, gizmos.
Madonna mics.
That's it, Madonna mic. I lived in New York City for about a decade, and I was fortunate enough to go all over the, east coast of the country primarily, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York. Wherever there was a theater that would hire me, I'd go. And what's weird is that I made New York home base, but when I was a lot younger, I don't really think I lived there because I was constantly going to do a play or a musical somewhere, primarily plays at that point when I was a lot younger. And I don't remember living in New York for a long period of time, and it became like this how to sublet your apartment really well kind of thing. Now that everything is done but the shirt and some accessories, it's time to go throw on a wig. Let's do it. This is sort of, I call this the West Wing. This is where the mics live. That's where we grab them on the way into work. Hey, baby. Hey. Meredith, we're coming for you. So this is Hair Central. This is Meredith. She's gonna throw a mullet on me. And that's the wall of hair love. That's where the hair lives when we're not wearing it. Oh. Good.
Yeah.
Meredith's about to have a baby very shortly.
Maybe right now.
Maybe right now. That would be really good.
Hopefully right
If
now.
it happened right now, that'd be awesome. I think we'd have to name the baby Mullet. We make the first name Mullet and then the middle name something really pretty like Grace.
Mullet Grace.
Mullet Grace.
So what are you doing there? Just pinning it down?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
You can go ahead.
No, tell him. It's just pins. Yeah, the pins are actually going into the prep that you saw me put on before.
What's the styling process for you every day? Like, what do you...
For this one's not too bad. This one's pretty much cut the way it is. So you just put some spritz in it and push it back into place.
What's the hardest way to
The part is the one she's doing right now.
Who says that?
That's waitress number 1. It's just time consuming. It's not necessarily hard.
Just takes crimping.
About an hour and a half to 2 hours to put it together from start to finish. Not every day, but
Yeah.
today that one was washed.
How often do you wash them?
Usually once every 3 weeks, unless they need it more often than that.
And then how often do you go for the restyle just once you wash?
Yeah, we restyle them when we wash them, and then we touch them up every day. Everyone gets touched every day. And some of them stay better than others.
Is there anything who is new?
Yeah, the lead Justin, he's not wigged. Markeisha's not wigged. Bob Tordy's not wigged. Just a couple, but there are some. Oh, and Kevin, yeah. Feel good?
Awesome. Thank you. It's as simple as that.
Alright.
That's it.
Thank you, Eddie.
And we're gonna go back and put a shirt on, and I do a little sexy. I'll show you a little sexy, and then we're done. So all that's left now is some gloves and a watch. The first shirt, I do have a lot of shirt changes, which is nutty. But what I like to do after the wig goes on, sometimes I like to what I call sexy up the facial hair, because I'm not a good grower. So I get a little mascara, and I just try to darken it up a little bit. Ladies like the dark stash. And now I just throw on a shirt. This is shirt number 1. As you'll see later, there's a ton of really cool shirts to go with Lonny. But this is pretty badass. And like I said, I just make sure those mic packs are sitting right above my ass, just so I can do up the pants. The pants are pretty tight, which I like. That's that. And there are certain things that, since it's now almost been a year, that have sort of fallen into routine, and they've almost become like a superstition for me. Like if I don't do them, I kind of like get freaked out a little bit. And it's my boots. I tie them last. I don't know what it is, but it just sort of happened. And I was pretty superstitious as a young hockey player. I was a goalie back in Canada, and goalies are a little weird anyway to begin with. And I think it's just something that sort of carried with me, and I get pretty superstitious-y, if that's a word. This is probably the most interesting television ever. What's funny is that when we started out here in Vegas, they originally had me put on just like a little foundation and stuff. Some of the guys from New York came out and they were like, "What the fuck's Lonny got on his face? Lonny doesn't wear makeup." And I was like, "Thank you, Jesus." So it made my job a lot easier. There's no makeup on this guy. If I look like I just rolled out of bed, Lonny just rolled out of bed that day. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So that's it. And then we wait for a places call, and I make my way upstairs.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for doing this. This is a treat. I can't wait to see it.